Prior to this year, there were 6 governing bodies around the world dealing with handicapping, each with very different methods for arriving at a player's handicap index and course handicap. As an example of the disparity, 3 of these 6 governing bodies did not use slope ratings. The World Handicap System initiative has taken 4 years, but now there are consistent rules around the world. We will now review some of the fundamentals of handicapping. Several areas did not change from what the USGA rules have always been. We will touch on those briefly. We will spend more time on the major changes. The World Handicap System consists of the new rules of handicapping and the course rating system. The goal is to have a system that is inclusive, consistent, and portable. The course rating system did not change for U.S. golfers. Course rating is a key to enabling portability. Players with a handicap index can now go from one tee to another or one course to another anywhere around the world, and their course handicap will be adjusted appropriately. One of the biggest changes with the new system is the way in which course handicaps are calculated. Course handicap is the number of strokes you receive playing a specific set of tees on a specific course. The portion of the formula in black is how a course handicap used to be calculated. With this method, if you play exactly to your handicap, you'll have a net score equal to the course rating. The new 2020 formula includes course rating minus par. So in 2020, if you play exactly to your handicap, you'll have a net score equal to par. For those of you who have played in competitions, that included multiple tees, last year the competition committee needed to make handicap adjustments based on the difference in course ratings from different tees. This new formula already includes course rating and par, thereby eliminating the need for any additional adjustments in course handicaps. So in effect, your course handicap accounts for differences in difficulty from every tee on every round played, not just during competitions. What it does introduce, however, is a much wider range of course handicaps for each golfer depending on the tee and the course being played. Here's an example of that disparity. This table shows course handicaps for a scratch player with a handicap index of 0 on a fictitious course across a wide range of tees. The left side uses the 2019 course handicap formula. The course handicap is 0 across all tees, as framed in yellow. The right side shows the impact of the new 2020 formula. The player's handicap varies from 2 to a +5 because of the variation in course ratings and pars. The scratch player only has a 0 course handicap from the white tees where the course rating of 71.7 is basically equal to par 72. This slide is the same comparison using a player with a handicap index of 15. The 2019 formula has course handicaps varying from 18 to 15. The new 2020 formula shows course handicaps ranging from 20 to 10. You may feel like you're losing strokes with the new system, but relative to other players, you are not. A new term called playing handicap is introduced in the new system. For some competition formats, a percentage is applied to your course handicap so you get fewer strokes during that competition. This is done to provide equity across all players in that competition. This calculation has been used frequently in past competitions, but now it has an official name. Playing handicap is a course handicap multiplied by any handicap allowance being used for the competition. In this example, the course handicap of 15 coupled with an 85% allowance results in a playing handicap for the competition of 13. One significant change is that the maximum handicap index has been increased to 54 for both men and women. This is aimed at making it easier for all players to get an index and see a change in that index as they improve. In the old system, the maximum index was 36.4 for men and 40.4 for women. Another significant change is in how you determine the maximum score that you can report on a hole. In 2019, equitable stroke control was used. Under equitable stroke control, a golfer with a course handicap of 10 could post a 7 on a par 5, but could also post a 7 on a par 3. Equitable stroke control is gone. It's been replaced by net double bogey. To determine your net double bogey on a hole, start with par for the hole. In this case, example, it's 4. Add 2 strokes to get to double bogey, and finally add any handicap strokes you receive on that hole. This means that to determine your maximum on each hole, you need to know exactly on which holes you will get strokes. For many golfers, assigning course handicap strokes to each hole can be challenging. But there is good news. All the new GIN reporting tools, the kiosks, the mobile app, and GIN.com, support hole-by-hole reporting. If you report your scores hole by hole, these tools will automatically adjust your score for handicap reporting. If you haven't done so yet, download the mobile app and check out hole-by-hole scoring. If you start but do not finish a hole, record your score as most likely scored. This is not a change. When might this happen? You might be in a 4-ball competition and your partner has already holed out with a better score than you can expect to get. Or you may be in a match play event and your opponent concedes the hole. The new rules offer some guidelines on what most likely means. The intent is not to get out a tape measure to determine what your score should be. However, if someone concedes you a 15-foot putt, don't count it as a 1 putt. You would assume 2 more strokes to hole out. Another topic of no change is reporting scores for holes not played. Hole maintenance, darkness, or weather issues are common reasons why you may not play a hole. Record all holes not played as net par, which is par plus any handicap strokes you would receive on that hole. The rules for scores that need to be reported have not changed. You must post all scores when you play in an authorized format. This includes both competition rounds and general play, match play and stroke play, both individual and 4-ball. This covers a variety of formats, including Stableford and what many players refer to as best ball. It is important to note that you must post even if you pick up one out of the hole or you do not play the remaining holes after a match is decided. The golf course must have a current rating. You play during the active posting season for that location. Post both home and away scores, and you must play according to the rules of golf. The rules for scores that cannot be reported have not changed. You still cannot report rounds in which you play alone. You can't report if you've been coached while playing. If playing in a scramble or other format where you do not play your own ball, like alternate shot. If you use non-conforming equipment. If you're playing an event where clubs are restricted, for example, a 3-club tournament. And if you golf 6 holes or fewer, that's not enough to post a 9-hole score. 9-hole rounds are still combined as before. If you play 7 to 13 holes, you can post a 9-hole score. One change that was made is that you need to play 14 holes to be able to report an 18-hole score. Previously, 13 holes were required to post an 18-hole score. One administrative item to be aware of, some changes have been made in the score type designation. Home and away remain the same, but combined 9-hole rounds are now tagged with an N for 9 rather than C for combined. Tournament scores are now tagged as C for competition rounds. When the GIN system migration was done at the end of the year, all of these score types on your existing records were updated, so your historical 9-hole rounds will show N and your T scores will now be C scores. Another significant change is that scores need to be posted on the same day the round was played, before midnight. With the new system, handicap index calculations take place every night. If you golf on Tuesday, your handicap index will be recalculated for your use on Wednesday morning. This is another good reason to get the mobile app. It gives you the flexibility to report your score from anywhere. Now we'll explain exactly how your handicap index is calculated. There are 5 key changes. You only need 54 holes or 3 rounds to get an initial index. Your index is based on the best 8 of your last 20 rounds. The playing condition calculation can alter your handicap differential. Exceptionally low scores can reduce your handicap index. The system has added caps to limit how high your handicap index can go. It used to take 90 holes or 5 rounds to establish an index if you were a new golfer. Now GIN will calculate an index after just 3 rounds. You will notice that 6 or fewer rounds include additional adjustments to compensate for the limited amount of data available. Until you get a full scoring record of 20 scores, this table shows how many scores are used. Once a golfer has posted 20 scores, a handicap index is calculated as the average of the best 8 of the last 20 differentials. This contrasts to the previous system, which averaged the 10 best of the last 20 scores multiplied by 0.96. At the beginning of the year, most golfers saw a change in their index due to this calculation change. Calculating a score differential is the same as before, but with one new component. There is now a playing condition calculation, abbreviated as PCC. Let's take a look at that piece. Course ratings are established using normal course setup and weather conditions. Unfortunately, we don't always play golf under these ideal conditions. The playing condition calculation is a mathematical calculation that the GIN system performs. Nobody has to make a judgment call on the weather. The golf shop staff does not need to intervene in any way. GIN checks for the need for any playing condition adjustment for every course at midnight using the scores posted that day. Adjustments will be integer values, no fractions or decimal points in a PCC. At the end of the day, scores from a course are analyzed to see how many scores are unusually high or low. At least 8 scores are needed across all tees for both genders from players with handicap index of 36 or less. Really high handicappers can have a lot of variability in their scores, so they're not included to avoid biasing the calculations. If a PCC adjustment is warranted, it's applied to score differentials for all players posting scores on that course on that day. The PCC calculation is one of the reasons why it's important to report the day that you play. If you do not report on the day you play, you can report later. As long as a correct date played is entered at posting, the proper PCC will be applied to your score. Be careful, whenever you report a score, GIN defaults to today's date. If a score is reported late, but the date is not corrected, then that score is erroneously affecting the playing condition calculation for the date entered, and the PCC for the date actually played will not be used. Download the GIN app and post right after you finish golfing. Exceptional score reductions replace the tournament or T-score process. Tournament or competition scores no longer play any special role in a player's handicap index. An exceptional score is any single score that is exceptionally better than the player's handicap index. A score is considered exceptional when the differential is 7 or more lower than the player's handicap index. One score, any score, the reduction is immediate. If the differential is 10 or more lower, then the reduction is 2 rather than 1. Let's run through an example of how the reduction works. Here's a sample scoring record. This golfer posted an exceptionally low score on May 22nd. The differential of 4.1 resulted in an exceptional score reduction. The player's handicap index is reduced by adjusting each of the last 20 score differentials by 1. You see the -1 added in the ESR column in the scoring record, starting on May 22nd and affecting the previous 20 differentials. On September 5th, the player once again posted an exceptionally low score. This resulted in a -1 ESR adjustment for that round and the previous 19 differentials. If a player has more than one exceptional score, the reductions are cumulative. So between May 22nd and April 10th, there are 2 -1 exceptional score reductions. By making the reductions this way, it allows the player to gradually work out of the reduction. As more scores are posted, the reduction goes away. Another tool in place to keep a handicap handicap index from increasing too rapidly is a cap procedure. Along with your current handicap index, GIN now shows your low index over the last 12 months. If your calculated index increases more than 3 above your low index, then you only get half of any increase above 3. This is called a soft cap. After applying a soft cap, if your calculated index is more than 5 higher than your low index in the last 12 months, then the handicap index is capped at 5 higher than your low index. That's called the hard cap. At that point, you have hit the wall. One more reminder, post the day that you play. Your handicap index is updated every night. Posting gets year-round included in the playing condition calculation. More importantly, it makes sure that the next time you play, you are playing with a correct handicap index. This chart summarizes and contrasts the new World Handicapping System process with the old process. If you want more information, Google the phrase WHS Resources for Players. This gets you to a USGA website which covers many of these same topics. You can also contact your club's handicap chair, or you can contact the RDGA office by phone at this phone number. Have fun on the course this season.